I am not responsible for manufacturing. I am not responsible for defect or quality decisions. Defect decisions, recalls specifically, are in fact made in Japan.
Mr. Chairman, you have been most generous with your time. Mr. Lentz, I thank you for your courtesy. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Rush for questions, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Lynch, I see some attendees who are sitting in the front row with some buttons on that says "I am Toyota America" in America. Are these some of your employees?
These are some of the employees from our assembly plants that do a great job for us.
Right. Well, I want to commend you on the diversity. I think that you have a very diverse workforce, and I want to welcome all of your workers here.
Thank you, sir. They're hardworking Americans.
Thank you. We've heard some compelling and disturbing testimony from the Smiths this morning, and the committee learned over the course of its investigations that Mr. and Mrs. Smith are not alone in their experience with sudden unintended acceleration, and also with the frustrations of dealing with Toyota. In fact, Toyota has received thousands of complaints from its customers about frightening sudden unintended acceleration incidents. And many of these incidents, unlike the Smiths, resulted in serious injuries or even fatalities. And I would expect that your company will respond to these complaints with a sense of urgency and complete a serious investigation of these problems. But that's not exactly what Toyota did in the Smiths case. And one of the most striking things the committee heard during this investigation, and also from testimony, is how dismissive Toyota has been of its customers' report of sudden unintended acceleration. And Mr. Smith, Mr. Lentz, rather, just to tell you, I have just received a few moments ago this text written to one of my staff members from my district in Chicago. And I'm going to try to pull it up. It says here, it's from one of the executives at a local newspaper, the Chicago Defender. And it says, Stephanie, this is one of my staff members, if Representative Rush wants to put a face to this Toyota mess, my sister-in-law died December 28th in a car accident near Dallas, Texas. She and 3 others were riding in a Toyota Avalon when it left the road, hit a tree, flipped in the air, and landed upside down in a pond. Everyone died. Police said there was no evidence of any braking, giving rise to the idea that it was an accelerator problem. My sister-in-law, Sharon Love Ransom, was a senior executive with IBM. This is another indication. You've indicated to this committee this morning or this afternoon that you will retrieve the Smith's car. Would it be asking you too much to look into this matter and, if possible, retrieve the car involved in this accident? I want to...
If it's the accident that I'm thinking of, and we can have our staff check, both Toyota engineers and NHTSA did, in fact, inspect that vehicle.
And do you know what they determined?
I don't know what was determined.
Would you check further into this?
Yes, we'll check into it. If it's
has there been any issues with the Avalon brand?
There have been cases of both sticking pedals as well as floor mat entrapments. Yes. Mr.
Lentz, do you have any reason to believe that out of the thousands upon thousands of complaints that Toyota or Lexus owners are inventing these terrifying stories about their driving experiences?
No, from an engineering standpoint, it's critical that we get information so that we can go and investigate. Today, in many cases, information that's submitted onto NHTSA's website, unless there's an investigation opened, we don't have the name of the customer or the full VIN number. And I think going forward, one thing that we should think about doing is make that available to the manufacturers so we can cross-reference that against our databases and we can investigate these much sooner and not have to wait for an investigation to be open to be able to do that.
From a marketing perspective, don't you feel as though Toyota and yourself, don't you feel as though you owe your customers, who some have gone through some serious injuries, a lot of hurt and pain, don't you feel as though that you owe them a sincere apology for your company, your vehicles, your product causing them sincere pain? Can't you just apologize
Yes, sir.
to them?
Yes, sir, we have. Because I will tell you, and whether it is an accident, an injury, I mean, we heard the Smiths today. You didn't have to have a death to understand the terror that she had from that accident. I mean, that's a terrible thing to have to put one of our customers through. And it doesn't even have to be an accident. I mean, we have apologized to our consumers just for the concern that we have given them with their current recall vehicles. We are sincerely sorry for that concern and anxiety we've put people through. I mean, my wife drives a Toyota Prius. It's a recalled vehicle. My son drives a Prius. It's a recalled vehicle. My mother-in-law is in an ES 2006. My father has a Sequoia. They're recalled vehicles. I want to make sure that my loved ones are safe as well. And
But switching back over to the engineering, but you still have been pretty evasive here about the cause, the actual cause of this pain and suffering. There seems to be there's a lot of inconsistencies here and a lot of dualities that you're operating from. And I'm not sure if the apology, what is it based on? Is it sincere? Is this really a problem from an engineer's perspective that you assume responsibility for?
it's anytime there is one death in one of our vehicles, that pains us to have that take place, regardless of how it happens. But it's critical today, and we weren't doing a good job in the past of investigating those quickly enough, especially when it had to do with unintended acceleration. And with adding these new engineers, these SWAT teams, that we're going to be able to get on site as rapidly as we can. Our goal is to make it in 24 hours. We need to be able to do that so we can understand what's happening and make the necessary changes so that it doesn't happen again. I can tell you, I lost a brother in an accident a week after his 30th birthday. That was 20-some years ago. And there's not a day that goes by that I don't think of that. So I know what these families go through.
Thank you, Mr. Rush. Mr. Markey, questions, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Lentz, it seems to me that Toyota got the first alarm back in 2000 when the British ordered a Lexus recall due to acceleration problems. Toyota got a second alarm back in 2003 with the Canadian recall. Toyota is a global corporation. Those two alarm bells should have sent your engineers scrambling to figure out what was wrong and what was needed to be done to fix the problems. Instead, the same types of problems cropped up in additional Toyota models, resulting in the recalls that bring you here today. So instead of deploying your engineers